Hi there, boys and girls, Brucey here. How are you all doing out there? Here I am with another video on the behind the scenes recording of my album Inner Circles. And this time I'm going to talk a little bit about the philosophy behind the album, the concepts behind the album, and where the actual songs came from, rather than perhaps my songwriting process and where I get ideas from. One of the things that was really important on this album was writing some tracks that I could go out and play by myself. Not because I don't want to play with a band. Nothing, you know, I'm put on this earth to play music with bands. That is what I feel my purpose is. That's where my happiness lies. That's what, you know, motivates me to do everything that I do. And that's playing music, live music with a band. But I wanted something where I could go out and prove to myself, first of all, that I could play tracks by myself without relying on a band, write tracks that I could play by myself, and also give me access to some other types of gigs which I don't normally do, like the smaller coffee house gigs, more intimate gigs, where it might not be possible to play with a band. I really wanted to push myself into that direction, and at the same time I didn't necessarily want to go out with backing tracks all the time, or maybe a few backing tracks, but I wanted a couple of pieces which I could definitely play unaccompanied by myself. Now, I am no Tony Emanuel, I am no finger picker at all. That is not my style, that is not where I come from, but what I tried to do was write tracks or have some ideas which kind of do fit into the style that I'm playing. So very much maybe in a kind of Curtis Mayfield vibe of kind of just playing, embellishing chords, a Jimi Hendrix thing, think Little Wing, that kind of thing, where you're playing chords and you're playing embellishments in between the chords, but it feels, you know, it feels like a complete piece of music. So that was one of the ideas behind what I was going to do on the album. And then conversely to that, I wanted a couple of real rocking tracks. Now, some of the tracks that I'm putting out on the album have been around for a while. One track in particular I recorded way back in about 1990 for the first time. There has been a whole range of different versions of this track, but nothing that's ever really been put out into the world. I even recorded it with a band with vocals on it as well. A great singer, Steve, he put some amazing vocals to this track, but it never really went on air. And this track's been lying around, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity now to get it done properly with a full band. As I first envisaged it all those years ago. So that is, you know, coming back, and that is of its time as well. So it's very much inspired by the guitarist I was listening to back in those days. The whole kind of album is on this kind of journey of light and dark and kind of rocky and then kind of more open, laid back. So we're not talking acoustic music. I hope everything that you hear is definitely in my style. Again, that's something that I wanted to put into this record. What really helped me writing some of these tracks was some advice from Steve Vai when I was doing the Steve Vai course at Berkeley. And he was saying, try and write songs just for you. But the concept goes, just go into a room, lock yourself in a room. Well, you don't have to lock yourself in a room, but put yourself in a room and write something that you say to yourself that no one else is ever going to hear. This is solely for you. What would you write if you just wrote something just for you? And at the end of the session or whatever, you shut the door, you delete the tape, no one is ever going to hear it. What would you write? And the idea behind this is that if you take away all this noise of, you know, maybe people on YouTube saying, I want to hear this, all the things that are kind of going on in your subconscious, all these voices saying, you need to do this, you need to do this, no one likes this, no one likes this, no one wants this, everyone likes this, all this stuff is going on, and it's kind of pushing you in directions when you are trying to write music. And when you're trying to be true to yourself and when you're trying to write things, that is the last thing you want. So I really took that on board, and I put together a lot of pieces that when I first started out writing them, I kind of said, I'm just going to play this and that's it. It's going to play it once and it's never going to be performed again, or no one is ever going to hear this. The more I did this, the more I got into this spirit the more I found my true voice started to come out in the music that I was writing. And the more I found that actually there were some really good pieces on there. And obviously that is the ultimate point, is you find things which really speak to you, and then it doesn't really matter because you're so involved with them that they really work. And for me as well, if I love the pieces of music that I'm working on and writing, then that's all that matters. If someone else likes it, one person, then that is mind-blowing and phenomenal. And if two people, it's like, oh, what a head, you know. Sorry, I'm trying not to swear. But ultimately, it's writing stuff that I want to listen to and that I really enjoy. And again, fingers crossed, everything crossed, that some of you guys out there really like what I'm doing. But that is where the spirit of what I was doing is coming from. So we've got the idea that I am, first of all, writing stuff that I can play by myself. I am then writing stuff primarily for me and freeing my own inner creativity up so that I can be totally free to create the music which comes from inside my heart and inside my soul. The next construct I gave myself kind of goes back to the first idea, and that is that I wanted something which could be done in a kind of played back in a kind of trio format as well. Think about, you know, Alien Love Secrets by Steve Vai. He said he wrote that album because, you know, he'd done Passion and Warfare. It was, and Fire Garden, kind of big albums. And then he wanted something which was a little bit quick and a little bit kind of trio-esque, just him on guitar playing along with the band. And that's another vibe that I really wanted to get into. Keep it simple, stupid. Again, that's my motto in life, and that's something that I'm always telling my students, you know, try and keep it as simple as possible. And that is what I wanted to do here. Not necessarily the music being simple, but in fact, it's just a couple of elements: bass, drums, guitar, a couple of guitars interacting with one another, not big productions. Now, you're going to call me hypocritical because there are a couple of tracks that I'm writing that have a bit of synth parts on there, but I won't be using them live, for example, but it's just to add, you know, to create something on the album. So that is the general philosophy and concept ideas behind Inner Circles. Hence the reason it's also called Inner Circles. You can read into that what you will. Anyway, I've been Brucey. I hope you found that useful. There will be more videos coming up on behind the scenes of the album. We're going to look at the tools that I'm using. We're going to look at the actual writing process, the recording process, a lot more coming along. So I hope you found that useful. Love to hear your comments. Please do hit subscribe. Please do hit the notification bell. And most of all, please do take care of yourselves. I've been Brucey. I will catch you later.